Jacksonville, Oregon with Postmodern Jukebox. We're actually with Adam, the bassist, and he's
Hey everybody.
kind enough to talk with us before they go on for a pretty long set tonight. There's no opener, so they are the act of the night. We're actually at Best of Britt, which is our annual fundraiser that benefits our year-round education programs throughout the valley, which is really neat. And we're really excited to have you guys here. We've been anticipating this night for a very long time. And yeah, we can actually talk about these instruments, maybe?
Sure. I just want to say that I'm really happy to be here. This is like one of the most beautiful parts of the country, I think. And when I was a kid, my parents used to take me up to road trips up here, so I'm getting some really good memories. So thanks for having us. You want to talk about some instruments?
Yeah, so we are actually, the way that this festival started was in 1963 with a chamber orchestra.
Yeah.
And it was 3 weeks long, and we still have it today, but the orchestra is now like full-fledged 90 musicians who come from all over the world, and they come here for 3 weeks to do their thing with our conductor and music director, Teddy Abrams. So we see a lot of these.
Yeah.
They don't usually look like this. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. This is it's a travel bass, so it's like a kind of like there's a travel shampoo. It's like the same thing, but it's just smaller. This is essentially that kind of deal. It's made by David Gage. They designed that in New York City. David Gage is a great guy, and he makes great bass products. And yeah, it's called the Czech Ease Road bass, and this bass probably has logged more miles, I think, than any other Czech Ease, because I take it everywhere in the whole world. It's been to Asia, it's been to New Zealand, it's been all over Europe, and it's the same scale. You know, you still play the same scales and stuff, and so it's great. But it's just like basically everything from like the lower bout is truncated, and it actually is like perfect. It comes in right underweight when you fly with it, and it's just great. And then you can see it in a lot of the videos, like the All About That Bass video.
Yeah.
Casey and I are playing it, and you know, essentially the mechanics of the four-handed bass solo is that I'm playing, and I can play on the top two strings, and then Casey, he gives me a hug. But he hugs me from behind, and it's a little, you know, but it's cute. And he plays the lower strings, and that's how you accomplish the four-handed bass solo. So for all you bass players out there who wanted to know about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are there any other famous bassists? Like, would you ever see this like with an orchestra or chamber music?
Yeah, you could definitely play that in an orchestra. I mean, I think orchestral players prefer to, you know, have like a regular, you know, full-bodied
sound.
Instrument, because you know, especially if you're going to be playing, you know, I don't know, some Mahler or some Brahms or something like that. You know, you want to get the low end, you know, you want to get the subwoofers going. But you can make some really beautiful sounds. I think it's a little bit better for jazz, and if you like check out the David Gage page, and the people that use this are like Chris Wood, he's pretty good.
I was going to ask you
Dave
about
Holland,
him.
he's pretty good. You know, Esperanza Spalding. So I mean, it's just like to have something that you can just pull out of the case. You don't have to, you know, screw it together or anything like that, and it never ever breaks. So just, you know, it's like a Timex. You know, it takes a licking, keeps on ticking. So it's just when you tour as much as I do, it's like you need something that's going to be really consistent. And that David Gage gives me a free bass for talking about how good this instrument is.
Yeah, I was so what you do on the bass, in like not just for Postmodern Jukebox, but probably in other parts of your life, how would you compare it to like what the Wood Brothers are doing? And because I think a lot of people do know who you are and are here tonight because they've seen your videos, or maybe they've seen you live before, but people who haven't necessarily heard of you yet.
How do we compare it to like stuff like what Chris Wood
does? Or like
does?
what you do on the bass and what he does on the bass, and just like...
I mean, I actually don't really I haven't really checked out too many of their records.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris. I know his work in Medeski, Martin, and Wood.
Oh yeah.
So like I know a lot of that stuff. I've seen them play. They've been around a long time. Fantastic player. So I would say that from what there's not like a ton of like extended jamming that goes on in this band. Like the arrangements are pretty tightly constructed in the sense that for the most part there's like a fixed number of measures, and the chaos, the improvisation is a little bit controlled. We don't have like a ton of like open sections that we do. Some of our tunes, like What Is Love, we sort of let Casey run around and go crazy, and then we sort of like riff like a little bit underneath. But it's sort of like for all you people that have ever played like a big band jazz chart or something like that. It's like you have sections where there's parts where I gotta play this, I gotta play this line here, that it goes along, lines up with what the piano player and the horn players are doing, and then there's other times where there's just like chord change, slash slash slash, chord change slash slash slash, and then you're just like you're just walking bass lines, or you're taking a solo or something like that. What's really cool about PMJ for me is I consider myself mainly a jazz player, but I have a master's degree in classical playing, so I was like playing all my concertos by memory and stuff, and then also I got this weird guy. When I was in high school, I really was into slap bass and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So to play in PMJ means that you can sort of do all that stuff. They give you a decent amount of leeway to try new stuff, and you're hearing like people when the instrumentalists take our solos, like the saxophone players like playing some like heavy duty like bebop stuff, like really pretty intense, and Jesse he's like playing he's the piano player, he's playing like some hiatus coyote odd time stuff, and lately I actually have been playing slap bass solos because I haven't really like worked out that muscle, like playing slap bass and like in front of like a bunch of people, so it's good to sort of like make moves, so you just how to do it on the spot. So it's been really nice. I'm actually just copying Flea his solo from Higher Ground, the Stevie Wonder cover. It's just pure slapping. It's really, it just, for me, it feels really good. I love slap bass. But I also like, I play a lot of jazz and stuff, and I used to live in New York City, and I'm from the Bay Area, so I do it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got started with PMJ through Sleep No More? Is that kind of right?
Sorta. Yeah, just like the cliff notes of it is that I went to Connecticut, the Hart School, part of the University of Hartford, and I got my master's there. And at the time, I met Scott Bradley, and he was, he's still in college, and we were just hustling, doing a bunch of little gigs, a few jazz brunches, a couple of bar mitzvahs, here and there, which is great. And then fast forward, he moved to New York, and then I moved to New York for law school. And then he started MDing the show called Sleep No More, which is like immersive theater piece. It is so cool. If you guys get a chance to go to New York, you definitely want to see this. If you like kind of like artsy stuff, it's like immersive dance piece set in 1939,
like
based on Macbeth. You move through it, and you wear these like crazy like eyes wide shut masks.
Yeah.
It's a little provocative.
Yep.
And we would play there like 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week. I was going to law school, so I was like just bleary-eyed for the whole time I was living in New York. I was really so tired, but I was full because I was playing music, and we just, a lot of the stuff that we do in PMJ, a lot of the weird stuff, we sort of worked out at Sleep No More. A lot of the first covers, the first PMJ gig, was there. The first time we worked with Puddles, the clown, he had a shtick at Sleep No More, and it was just amazing, and it was just the weirdest thing. We'd finish our set, and then we would just kind of stand there, and then all of a sudden this like 7-foot tall clown with a lantern would wander through like the crowd, and we'd all act shocked, like what is happening, and still it is kind of shocking to see. and then Puddles would come up on stage, and he would have a little suitcase, and then he would literally stand at the microphone, clearing his throat for as long as it took for the entire room to be quiet. A crowded bar in New York City on a Friday night, waiting for this clown, and they had to get silent before he would sing. And then once finally it was sufficiently quiet for him, he would belt out this like amazing sort of like crooner, like hey lonely guy. That's when he did You Killed My Love. They're all like incredibly dramatic. And then after that, Scott was like, man, we got to get Puddles the Clown to do a video, and that was really fun. Royals. Yeah.
So, is there a theater aspect to the way you guys perform with PMJ on stage versus like what you do in the recording studio?
Yeah, there's definitely a script to be followed. I mean, the cool thing about a PMJ show, for people out there that haven't been, is that it's like, for one thing, it's never like a fixed band. Like, we rotate in and out, like people that have been finalists in American Idol, people that are some of like the top New York City jazz musicians, people that have been on Broadway, people that have like fantastic YouTube careers in their own right. So every show is different. And the really special thing about it is that we're improvising. You never know what's gonna happen, it's just the repertoire changes. And this is what I want to say, is that it's more like a party than it is like a concert, because we have a tap dancer, but also like we have like people come, like Lindy Hoppers and other tap dancers come, and they will sometimes just start like swing dancing spontaneously, like in the aisle, and the other thing is that a lot of people are into like vintage vibes, vintage style. So you see like some of these ladies especially, they show up and they're like got these like amazing like perfect victory curls, and they're wearing these like 1950s dresses, and they just look like spot on, like perfect, except maybe they'll have like a cool like tattoo or something like that,
Yeah.
like, because that's sort of like a thing as well. So yeah, it's just like it's a happening, more than it is a show, and you never know what you're gonna see. You never know what's gonna happen on stage. Sometimes Casey Abrams will do something kind of crazy. Every once in a while I bust out a dance move. I dust off the old Running Man.
We'll be waiting to see you maybe do one of those tonight.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
So where are you guys headed next after this?
We are headed down to Santa Rosa, California.
Back down there?
Yeah, back down there, and it's beautiful. It's obviously they have some wine there.
We do have some great wine.
Yeah. So it's a cool place. It's like not too far away from where I grew up, and I used to like teach at a music camp out there. So it's definitely like some old stomping grounds for me.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait for your show tonight, and thanks again for coming to talk to us out here in beautiful Jacksonville, Oregon.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to meet you.
High five.